to our Tech Talk on technology and e-commerce here on the Marketplace show Reset and Jumpstart. We will be right back after this break. All right, folks, good afternoon. And it is certainly that time of the day where we are on the third segment of the show. This is Tech Talk, where we focus on technology and e-commerce and how technology is impacting the ecosystem of small businesses, Main Street businesses, local businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. We do a specific focus on these and in that particular population because they're the most vulnerable, where you often hear certain companies and certain industries are too big to fail. When you think of the engine of the U.S. economy, the small business is responsible for a significant portion of the jobs created in this country. Prior to the pandemic, over 30 million new small businesses in this country. And so today you heard us mention, talked about the fact is that we are now, we have now formalized our lendership, our partnership as a lender. The Marketplace is now a PPP loan lender. You're going to be able to come to the Marketplace while we talk about all the wonderful solutions that we make available to you on this program. Cash and the access to capital, it is paramount. And so when we talk about being able to connect the dots, we're now going to make it possible for businesses, all of these businesses within that ecosystem I mentioned, where we, the Marketplace, when we're on the air live and when we're on television, you're able to come in real time and hear us talk about the different ways you can go about to strategize and access capital, to have access to the funds that you need to run your business. And so when we look at the specific area of technology is also transformative. Technology has been a major disruptor to the legacy of business and processes and systems. And so it was important to be able to create a category, a show, a segment specifically focusing on technology. Because technology in the next 3-5 years is going to literally change the landscape of whether or not you're going to either still be in business or not. I mean that literally. And so my colleagues are with me right now. We have Michael Girard. He is the founder and CEO of Core Finance. Again, speaking of technology and talking about innovative technology and how technology is changing our lives. He's built an incredible app, a financial app, to help you become more, proficient, efficient, to be able to manage and streamline your finances. And so we'll learn a little bit more about that later. Also, my colleague Jennifer, not Jennifer, Jessica Kyler she is an executive producer with the Callaloo Network, specifically for the Caribbean Food Network. But also, she is one of our colleagues who is responsible for helping to drive the marketplace as well. And so, Jessica and Michael, welcome to the program as usual. How have you guys been? How has your week been so far?
Hey, Jessica.
It's windy. It's windy here in the Caribbean. Woo! Isn't
Very
it?
windy. Yeah,
wait a minute. You said windy, and all of a sudden, what was that?
Woo!
That was windy.
I mean, I'm not complaining with these winds because, we know what September and October, the summer, and then it's brutal. But anyway, it's been beautiful down here. I mean, a little windy at night, but it's been great. My week's been good. Thank you. Getting ready for spring break.
Oh yeah.
Spring break. Spring
Wow. Break.
Wow. I tell you, you're making sure that we moving it right along there. So March, we're in March, so that's correct. Spring. I got to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I used to love spring, but now because of my allergies, no.
I think it's an age.
You're biased.
I think the older
spring
we get,
is great.
Yeah.
Did you say I'm old?
No, I just said I think just as we develop, I think we get more allergies. I know I do. And I like, spring is great, but Gary or Anthony. Oh, I called you Gary. You called me Jennifer.
You guys are throwing jobs at each other.
Yeah, but I will be playing the Easter Bunny role.
You will.
Well, yeah. So spring is Easter. Spring is a little hectic.
You're pretty good at that.
It's a little hectic. Filling those eggs. Hiding them, making sure that there's not chocolate in them because you can't put the chocolate in the eggs in the Caribbean because it melts.
Yeah, it melts.
Right.
Yep.
You figure out the hard way.
Yeah. Michael, what about you? What's been going on in your world of technology?
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're
frozen. Yeah.
You're frozen. Yep.
Can you hear us?
I think.
Oh, I think she's back.
Yeah, she's back. There she is. There she. You're back. You're back, Jessica. You're back. Look at that. Look at her face.
I know.
Look at her face. Wait a minute. Let me, Jessica, you're back. You should see the looks on your face. Oh my God.
I don't even want to know what screen it was. Like, I don't want to go back and look because that stuff makes me cringe.
It's okay. It was just the face of when technology doesn't work, That look that you give your computer.
You talk about wearing your emotion on your sleeve. You are wearing your facial expressions on your face.
Okay, let's not rub it in there, okay? Don't want to know.
Oh, gosh.
Nope.
So anyway.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah, no. Great news.
Okay.
So we now have the ability to make, when we talk about creating a platform that encompasses a total turnkey solution, right? From a technological perspective, how do we enable small local businesses to do business virtually in a virtual economy, to do business remotely, even when there are restrictions on where you can't have in-person transaction with each other, interaction with each other. That's just one of the barriers and hurdles for doing business, right? The other big hurdle is, COVID has literally decimated the traditional ways of doing business and the business models that we know of, right? And so people have either closed their doors, they've had to furlough a lot of employees, they've had to downsize, retool their business model, and they're just simply trying to stay afloat, survive. And so funds, capital is a critical component to that. And so we now we're pleased to announce that we now are going to make it possible to bring and make available to you the necessary funds to help you gain access to the capital that you need to help you stay afloat, to be able to operate your business, to keep your employees, to rehire your employees, to pay your landlord, to streamline your operation. And the great news, and Jessica, today I'm going to talk about the restaurant portion of this bill, because it's good news, because restaurants were left out of the previous stimulus package. They were left out, and so we'll take a look at that as well. But the important thing is that the marketplace, you're going to be able to come to us, and as a lender partner, we're going to make available to you the Paycheck Protection Program loan. You'll be able to come to us, and you can come to us right now. You can go. Obviously, we're just introducing it and making the announcement today, but you can go to www.ppppapplication.info. That's one way. www.ppppapplication.info. And the other way you can get to us is www.pppmoney.loan. Again, that's www.pppmoney.loan. And so you can come now and get yourself familiar. You can get the process started, but we're going to do it. We're going to take a deep dive in terms of the guidelines. By the way, right now, you have access to the $900 billion of the portion of the $900 billion that's going to be made available to small businesses to help them. And then at the end of March, under the Biden-Harris administration, the fourth tranche of monies is the $1.9 trillion is going to become available. And so we're going to have a combined, literally, the $900 billion and the $1.9 trillion worth of money, funds that are going to be made available to all states, governments, private sector, to help them along the way. And we're going to do our part, because we are now a lender partner of the SBA loan PPP program, and we're looking forward to doing our part to partnering with you to make those funds available.
Great.
That's definitely good news, Anthony. Yeah. Cash flow is everything, especially during this time.
Absolutely. So one of the things that in specifically, and so it has a lot of different areas we're going to cover, but I want to kind of just we had the last two shows we were talking about restaurants, so I just think it's appropriate that we take a look at the PPP funding as it relates specifically to restaurants. Now I'm looking for it here. It was just here. Where did it go? 1 second. Where did it go? Okay, I'm gonna have to pull that up. I think it's the other email. But in the meantime, we were talking about trends, Michael, of how small businesses are being impacted. What's the difference between, and for me, you're going to help me with this, because I think a lot of people, to begin with, struggle with just having a website. A lot of businesses don't have a website, believe it or not. 50%, 46% of small businesses don't have a website. It's a mind-boggling number when you think of 30 million small businesses. What's the difference between having a website and having an app? When we talk about how technology is impacting small business, and when a business is trying to decide, do I need a website, or do I need an app, or do I need both? Could you help us understand those dynamics, please?
That's a very good question. This week, we've been going through, in my team, kind of figuring out what's the best way to launch Core Finance. And it's a very tough question to answer initially, because it depends on the business and the business needs, its customers, and where the business sees itself in the next five years. So I believe that the primary differences between a website and an app is that a website is more informational, simple tasks, things that people just kind of can do quick, make an order, you know, submit or book something online, versus an app is more for someone who would repeatedly use the service. So if you ever find yourself in a place where you would need to create an account for your customers, you probably should look into doing an app. Now, there's a new technology that Google unveiled, I think it's about 10 years now, close to 10 years. It's called a PWA, Progressive Web App. And that merges the benefits of both the website and a native, what you call a traditionally known application. So the good thing about the PWA is that now it gives you a website, but it also gives you the same functionalities as an app. People can, you know, customers can log in, use the app, you know, buy things, you know, book things, get notifications directly on their phones. They can use their camera if they need to, or the hardware built into the device. So if you think about it from that perspective, but PWA is very handy. It also is cheaper than creating a traditional native application. So it's a good way to look at, you know, if you're a small business, you should probably look into investing in that instead of creating a website. Now, there's a few caveats to going with either one of the three options. But I think if you look at Amazon, for example, people tend to be repeat customers. They never buy just one thing, right? They probably buy diapers today and milk the other day. And, you know, at that point, you want someone who can easily log into your service and purchase your service or your products. And I think those are the key differentiators and potentially some things that some small businesses could look into.
Jessica, what's your take as you navigate the World Wide Web? And I think that one of the previous shows you talked about, you use your device a lot to manage a lot of your activities. Mm-hmm. Which one are you more inclined to choose if you had to, you know, go with a decision as to, do I create, it's like the chicken or the egg, right? Do I spend the money to create a website, or do I create an app? In your experience in dealing with both, what's your take on how you feel on, you know, having a website or having an app?
I just feel like, me personally, I think an app is more my avenue, just because websites tend to, you know, when you have a website, or a lot of people, you know, need a website designer, and that takes time, and it takes time to change things. And I just think, like, right now with the pandemic, things are changing weekly, you know, with curfews and hours of operation, what you can get in stock on, well, especially because we live on an island, like what we can get, what we can't get. Like, I went to a restaurant the other day and I was craving escargot. Okay. I like escargot. So I went there and they're like, and I was like, I'm going to have the escargot. Anyway, they're like, oh, we don't have escargot. You know, we can't get it on island. And I was like, because I went to their website and looked, and that was one of their apps. And I was like super excited about it. To be honest with you, that's kind of why I went there. But, you know, because I went to their website and that was their standard menu that they probably put together, I don't know, before season, right? You know, and they didn't have time to like go onto their website and change it. But if you go, you know, when you go on your phone or go on an app, you know, things they can change at a more rapid speed. And then going to a website, I mean, Michael, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I think it would, on the back end, it would probably cost a little bit more to make the changes, but definitely it would be more instant to the customers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a question of, as a business owner, because most people are intimidated by the subject of technology, right? There's a lot of jargons and technical terms and dynamics that people really are just intimidated by, right? And so if someone is trying to decide, because I get it all the time, I'm sure if I'm getting, most folks are getting it, you're getting a lot of emails about setting up a website, setting up an app. And so as someone is watching and listening to this program, you know, I find that there are boilerplate type apps, right? they're kind of sort of they're not customized. They're templates that exist, and you can work within the parameters of those apps. Same thing with website.
Right.
And the costs, I just think it's a lot more economical, affordable to build a website than it is to build an app. Am I off base, Michael?
Not completely. If you think of today's world with responsive, websites, a lot of times a website can perform just as good as an app, right? It comes, it's an opportunity cost because you lose some things, on the long term. Because now, I can order, for example, I tend to order from Amazon. And the reason why I do it is because if I like a product from Amazon, it stores my history that I purchased it there. And then I can go back and say, well, I purchased that thing a year ago and now I want it again. So I know where to go. Now, one-off websites, it's kind of, I purchased something today and I would even forget the name of the company which I got the product from. It happens all the time. I just had this conversation a couple of days.
That's an important point, right? Because with websites, you got to remember the domain name, right? You got to remember the URL.
Remember the URL. Yep.
When you have an app, you don't have to do it.
You don't.
An icon on your phone, on your mobile device. That's an excellent point, by the way. I never thought of it that way. Just until you said that, I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, and if you think about it, you download this app and it stays in your phone. And someday you're gonna come across it. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I purchased from Alibaba. I like that thing. Let me purchase it again. Or I purchased from Starbucks, the Starbucks app, and you can see it every now and again. Here's another thing, which is very important. Starbucks could run a sale or promotion for a week, and they can use their app to send an instant notification to their customer's phone, right? So versus in a website, they're gonna close your page, and you won't be able to send them a notification. So it's about the long term. It depends a lot on your business model. It depends a lot on what you want out of your customers. If you have customers who are repeat customers, you should probably invest. And that's one of our weakest links here in the Caribbean. We don't pay enough attention to websites. Not only not having them, but also when we have them, we don't make them responsive enough. So it replaces the need of an app.
So am I hearing you definitively to affirm that you could have one without the other? You can have a website and don't have an app, or need to have an app, or you can have an app and no need. You can have a standalone app as a business and no need for a website. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. But it's also dependent on your business model. It depends on the industry that you're in, the service or product that you're selling. And it's really just dependent on your business model. If you want to create a relationship with your, in our last episode, we spoke about AI and how it's empowering businesses to, be more, customized or more catering to their individual customers. If you kind of take a step back, you won't be able to do that if you just have a website. Yes, you'll collect some information, but that's it. You can't store information. You can't ask them questions over time saying, hey, do you like quiche? I don't know. We're thinking about having quiche next week. Is this something that you would be interested in? So you have that multiple stages or multiple opportunities to have contact with your customers. So it's really dependent on your business model. But to start off, you should start at least with a website. 100%.
And if I'm understanding you correctly, depending on your business model, having both can be an overkill. Having a website and an app can be depending on your web. Oh, you see, now you're saying no.
No, because that's why PWAs are so useful, because it gives you everything. Here's the thing with native apps: you need to configure the design to every screen size, right? So if you think about a tablet, then you think about a computer, then you think about a cell phone, right? Those are 3 different screen sizes, and that would affect how your app interacts with the user and the user experience. Right, it's going to affect the quality of it. A native app, you would have to design something to fit every single one of these screens. A responsive website or a PWA does that on its own. It recognizes the screen size and it adjusts, and it's a better experience overall. So it's not overkill to have a website and an app. Most businesses would prefer that if they had the budget and the time to do it. But if I would say start with looking at your business model and make a determination if an app is better or if a website is better. Another thing to consider for an app is that if it's not a PWA and it's going to be available through the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, you would have to consider that there's multiple steps for your customer to download your app. So they would have to first go to the Apple Store, then click download, and then sign in after the app has already downloaded. And many times for me, I download an app because I think it's cool and I forget about it for a month and then I stumble across it.
You're like,
I'm just being real.
And that's not surprising because even with Netflix, I love a movie. I love watching movies.
Right.
And I have Netflix, I have Amazon Prime, I have Hulu. And there are times I go periods.
Yeah.
They're there and they're just like invisible to me.
Right. But I can guarantee you Netflix would send you a notification saying, hey, we have this series coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah. Because she's probably experienced it, right? So if you're a restaurant, you probably will want to have a website at a minimum. Create a website that's responsive, that reacts to every screen size. So that way a user can just go and interact with your stuff. And if you want to take it a step above that, you can give them the ability to create accounts, right? So they can sign in. So they have preferences that you can learn about them over time. There's one restaurant I always go to.
Are you going to tell us what it is?
No. I do have my favorite. I do have one restaurant I always go to when I go to St. Croix as well.
Oh,
always. Same day. As soon as I land there, I need to go. Yeah.
I bet it's a local restaurant.
Maybe, maybe not.
He's been all like secretive, Jessica. He doesn't want to tell you.
I know. Michael.
It is local. I'll tell you that much. It is local. Yeah.
Is it in Christians? Just kidding.
Ah.
But listen, whenever you come, I'll take you to a couple of my favorite spots too.
Oh, sounds good. I should be there in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Okay. I'll be there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Watch the wind on that seaplane.
I know, right?
So while we're on the restaurant, right, and before we segue into continue our discussion on the difference between a website and an app, because I also want to talk about this announcement we just made and how we're going to use technology to manage the process, right? So the big announcement, yeah, exactly. The big announcement, right? And then what role technology is playing in that process, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So to streamline that. But according to the Journal of Accountancy, the $1.9 trillion, the House passed a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill with a variety of small business relief, right? And obviously we're gonna take a deep dive on just a whole breakdown and our ability as a lender to provide to help you to understand, to provide the guidance for you. But specifically as it relates to restaurants, support for restaurants and bars have been among the businesses most hurt by the stay-at-home and social distancing restriction imposed to slow the spread of the COVID-19. The $25 billion Restaurant Revitalization Fund, RRF, is intended to help businesses in the food service sector. In addition to restaurants and bars, other entities eligible for support for the RRF, which is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, include food stands, food trucks, food carts, caterers, salons, inns, taverns, lounges, brew pubs, tasting rooms, tap rooms, and any licensed facility or premise of a beverage alcohol producer where the public may taste, sample, or purchase products or other similar place of business in which the public or patron assemble for the primary purpose of being served food or drinks. When we come back, we're going to take a break. I'm going to give you the bullet points, right, of what the grant fund may be used to pay for the following eligible expenses. Okay, so there's specific breakdown under the $25 billion set aside specifically for restaurants. I'm going to give you the bullet points to break down as to what the grant funds, how it may be used to pay for the following eligible expenses. This is the Marketplace Show Reset. This is Tech Talk on technology and e-commerce. I'm Anthony Weeks with Michael Gerard and Jessica Kyler.
And I have to send out.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were going to. Yeah. I when we met yesterday, you said you had an extra whatchamacallit, but I guess not.
Couple minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No problem. All right. So we'll talk to you later, Jessica. All right. And we'll continue the conversation here on the program.
Okay. Sounds good. Michael, good to see you. Guys, I'll see you all next week. Okay.
Yep. Take care.
Right now, 91 million Americans are financially overlooked. 48% have a fear of finance. 2 in 3 lack the ability to manage their finances. We solve this issue by combining financial literacy and financial management into one seamless app. 1. Have your financial goals align with your values. 2. Track your money and forecast how big decisions will impact your virtual accounts. 3. Build financial literacy at your own pace. Our competitors are rigid, disconnected, and impersonal. They represent the old way of doing finance. That's not who we are. We personalize your finances for you because we know one size does not fit all. We're democratizing personal finance. Join the tribe at Core Finance and at corefinance.com.
Small business is a part of all of us each and every day. It's where we eat.
PPP became the gap. Seriously, the line between open and close.
Hi, I'm Randy Wistoff, Director of the Kansas City Zoo. We were able to receive a PPP loan through working with a local bank.
The SBA loan has helped us at the perfect time to be able to make payroll.
The PPP loan helped us in a way where we did not have to sacrifice our personal savings.
Thanks to PPP loans, Group Living is able to continue providing needed services to people who have a mental disability.
Hi, this is Claire Otto with Sugar Divas Cakery. PPP money has helped us bring the entire team back.
So with the PPP loan, what it's done is it's really helped us keep our pivot going and keep our people working.
The PPP has certainly helped stabilize this company. It has allowed us to be sure that each employee would receive his or her normal take-home pay so that they're able to carry on with their lives.
Hi, my name is Chris Ayers, and I'm the president of A-List Limousine and Transportation. Because of the SBA loan, we were able to bring most of our employees back, and we're excited to say that we're making a difference in our community.
Long story short, PPP came along, allowed us to bring back furloughed workers.
The PPP loan helped us expedite the process of bringing our weekend employees back quickly, so they were only out for a month.
We're happy to report the zoo is open again. We couldn't have done this without the help of the SBA and the PPP loan.
It relieved the pressure off of having to meet a certain sales goal.
Things just popped quick. We now have up to 13 people working, and that is within, I'm going to say, about a 7-day period. And we're able to do that because of the PPP.
we were able to keep all of our staff thanks to the PPP loan that we were able to secure.
The PPP loan we applied for and we got, which has been incredibly helpful.
Once the PPP came in, I was super excited because the funds were there to take care of staff.
The PPP coming in was a huge release.
And so if not for the PPP, we would have really suffered. It would have been horrible. We were able to bring back dozens of employees much earlier than, had we not had PPP.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that program, I don't know where we would be right now. Because it took a lot of weight off of us.
And the PPP really has been instrumental in helping us fill that gap.
Having that paycheck protection has actually really took some stress off of them as well.
PPP was a true lifeline.
Thank you for what you do for America.
So thank you so much to everybody.
Thanks, SBA.
The Paycheck Protection Program has been an incredibly successful federal disaster response, thanks to the President's leadership and the combined efforts of the U.S. Treasury Department and the SBA.
All right, folks, welcome back. And that was a message by the Small Business Administration on their efforts to help safeguard and protect and preserve small businesses in this country. And we're doing our part. We are now a lender partner in the effort to make funds available, funding available for small businesses in their local communities. And the good news is not only for-profit business, but also nonprofits are now going to be able to have the benefit of being recipients of these funds, because the criteria has now changed, where the focus was for-profit businesses based on having employees. The guidelines have expanded, has changed. And so it just kind of opens up the universe as to, who else can qualify, who else is eligible. And besides just doing paycheck or payroll, you now can use the monies for other things. And so earlier, before the break, my colleague, Michael Gerard, the founder CEO of Core Finance, the app that will be coming out very shortly. And then we have Jessica Kyler, one of our colleagues at Kalu Network and Caribbean Food Network, talking about the restaurant and how technology is not only impacting small businesses, but obviously restaurants are also small businesses, and how technology is impacting them. But more so, we're now talking about how restaurants now are going to have $25 billion that is going to be earmarked, set aside specifically to help restaurants. And so we're gonna continue. Mike and I are going to continue down this path, giving you the grant money that's going to be available for restaurants and what the monies can be used for with these restaurants. And so this is really good, because what they're doing is compartmentalizing the different industries and different sectors and how they are going to be eligible and how they're going to use these money. So I think that's great news, Michael, in terms of there's going to be tons of monies that's going to be pumped into the economy to help protect and safeguard some of these companies from going out of business.
Most definitely.
Folks, again, today's the announcement and the introduction of our lender program, the Marketplace Lender Program. We are broadcasting right now on www.localbiz.store. Our Tech Talk show, focusing on technology and e-commerce, is broadcast on the www.localbiz.store. When you come to localbiz.store, you're going to be able to see the different options to click on Apply Now for PPP loan. Again, when you come to www.local, LOCAL, biz, BIZ, Store, STORE, localbiz.store. You can watch this program live and listen in on our conversation. But most important, you'll be able to click on the many buttons that will help you get to where you can apply now. You can apply now. You don't have to wait for, let me not say that, because let me take that back for a second. If you apply now, the rules are going to change March 14th. The guidelines are going to change. Right now, the rules that exist are the rules that exist for the first set of tranche of monies that came out for small businesses under the PPP program. So the rules that exist now are the same old rules that exist before when the first tranche of money came out. The new set of guidelines are going to go in effect, and they're going to change March 14th, okay? Which is March 14th is a Sunday. So we're going to do a show specifically on the PPP next week, which is, I believe, the 17th, to be able to talk about those rules that have changing the guidelines. So while I encourage you to come now and kind of get used to and familiar with the website and the process, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you the guidelines are going to change March 14th. So you may want to wait till then as well. Okay. But before we went to a break, we were talking about restaurants and the grant monies, the $25 billion earmarked specifically for restaurants. Okay. Michael, if you may indulge me, let me run through those points first, and then you can offer any comments if you want before we continue on our discussion on other topics. Grant funds may be used to pay for the following eligible expenses: payroll costs. That's bullet number one. Bullet number two: principal and interest payments on a mortgage, not include any prepayments or on principal. Bullet point number three: rent payments, not including prepayments. Bullet point number four: utilities. Bullet point number five: maintenance expenses, including construction to accommodate outdoor seating and walls, floods, deck, surface, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Bullet point number six: supplies, including personal protective equipment and cleaning material. Bullet point number seven: food and beverage expenses within the eligible entity's scope of normal business practice before the covered period, which runs from February 15th, 2020 through December 31st, 2021, or another date as determined by the SBA. Bullet number eight: cover supplier costs. Bullet number nine: operational expenses. Bullet number 10: paid sick leave. And bullet number 11: any other expenses the SBA determines to be essential to maintaining the eligible entity. The plan requires applicants to make a good faith certification that the uncertainty of current economic condition makes the grant requests necessary to support the applicant's ongoing operation, and that the applicant has not also applied for or received a shuttered venue operator grant. The plan sets aside $5 billion for eligible applicants with 2019 gross receipt of $500,000 or less. The bill also charges the SBA with awarding the other $20 billion grants in an equitable manner to eligible entities of different sizes based on annual gross receipts. During the first 21 days of the grants, the SBA will prioritize application from restaurants owned and operated or controlled by women, veterans, or socially or economically disadvantaged individuals. So those are the highlights of what the funds can be used to pay for the type of expenses for restaurants. Mike, anything that kind of sticks out, grabs you in terms of what the $25 billion earmarked for restaurants and what they can be used for? Anything that jumps out at you?
Not really. I think the thing that I've noticed, or I think the thing that is most important, is keeping jobs created, right? I've said it many times before, cash flow is very important. And the more cash are in the hands of people, if they have a job, if they can spend it, and, you know, just have that cash circulate in our economy is very important.
Yeah. And I think that for the most part, because restaurants were hit hard, because just by nature of the business model, it requires, sit down dining, right?
Right.
And because of the strict rules of social and physical distancing,
yep.
It just really, if they were not set up to service their customer remotely, like curbside pickup, takeout, delivery, that kind of thing,
yeah,
it just really killed the model, right? It literally paralyzed them, put them out of business, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think at that point that's when you really see who has the grit and who can, pivot very quickly during these times.
Absolutely. And so I think where I don't know if some of these restaurants either closed temporarily or maybe have closed permanently, whether or not they now are the ones that literally closed because they were out of cash. I mean, there was no customer, no revenue, and they simply had to close their doors. And whether or not this $25 billion for restaurants can help resurrect some of these shuttered restaurants.
Of course, no doubt. If you think about it, I mean, you mentioned some of the things that are allowable, right? Just payroll alone can help so much. Covering rent, being able to pay for utilities, those are the major overhead costs for a small business. And if you can, kind of get something to give you a little bit of pool to swim in for a few months until you get your act together, until you get it, until maybe after COVID, until you've generated enough revenue, I think that, that changes everything. You're giving people the opportunity to fight and stay in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm glad that I appreciate what you said. I'm glad that you said that as well. Let's segue into your app. And I'm going to ask you this question only because what is the official release date for your app?
So we don't like to give a specific date, but it's definitely going to be.
You don't want to talk about the restaurant. You're going to come to say quiet.
Oh man, that's where you catch people,
Man,
you catch people.
You're really stingy, man. You're really stingy.
No. It's gonna be available the second week of summer. That's the date that we're aiming at. But, of course, there's a lot of delays. There's a lot of things, a lot of curveballs that COVID, kind of thrown at us. Just as simple as, getting funding, which we're in the process of acquiring funding right now. And, it's not the same, because it's not as easy to meet people and to have, a sit down lunch with them or dinner and kind of talk things through. A lot of times it's, what we're doing right now through video, and it's not as deep or as rich of a conversation, So those things play a major role.
So you are scheduled for second week release of your app in the summer, right?
Right.
And that would be what, June? Second week of June?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All things, barring any unforeseen delays, obstacles, whatever, what I'm hoping and when I asked you in previous shows whether the app can be used by small businesses, while it's a financial literacy app, which help the user of the app manage their finance. I believe you did say, you did affirmatively say that a small business owner can use the core finance app to help because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because their personal finance and business finance are so intertwined with each other,
right?
That you said yes, that the core app can be utilized by a business owner to help manage their finances as well, correct?
Yes, that is very true. Now, we're not a QuickBooks, and we're not in business to compete with QuickBooks, right? So we won't necessarily translate your financial, your specific financial receipts or revenues into, how you would, kind of convert that into a balance sheet or your taxes. That's not what we want to do. We want to be a little bit at a higher level. And that's because we've seen, I've been a consultant for, all my, work career. And something that I've seen time and time again is that people have a hard time understanding where the money is going, where it's coming from. And they don't necessarily need at that early stage, depending on the size of their business. They don't need something that tracks every single minuscule thing. They just need to know, how much do I have in my pocket? And am I able to, fluctuate and move around? Okay. Brenda said it's Chicken Shack.
Oh, shoot. Somebody blow your spot.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Look at that.
She might be right. She might be right.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know.
You're not even.
Jessica's going to have to wait. Jessica's going to have to wait until I make it to St. Croix, But I'll tell you this, for the viewers, if you guys want to comment on, what restaurants I should go to the next time I visit St. Croix, comment.
I like that. Okay, so here's why I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
The marketplace and our suite of technology solutions that we offer can either be done as a complete turnkey solution, or we can break it up into different components, right?
Right.
So one of our banking technology, okay, for small businesses, we are what we're doing is we are creating a platform that is all encompassing, that it will enable to empower small businesses to have all of the critical tools that they need literally at their fingertip,
right?
Whether they're doing business in person or remotely, okay? And so, as I'm asking this question, I'm listening to your response to see if whether or not there is some synergy to be able to take the core app and marry it to our banking app or our banking technology,
right?
That will help these local businesses as well, and even consumers, right? Consumers that are the customers, right? But more important, we are about to. I think the final piece. No, not the final piece, but one of the important piece, which is the shipping portal, is going to be. We're going to have the demo done on Friday. Okay. And so when we do now getting to the point where we're talking about, we're going to make it possible for people to simply, they don't have to go into a physical location for the PPP loan. Okay. We're going to make it possible where you're going to be able to apply for your loan with us. So if you come right now to www.localbiz, and that's BIZ, spelled with a Z, www.localbiz, www.localbiz.store, you will be able to now apply now if you want. I don't encourage you to do that just this second, because March 14th, the rules are going to change the guidelines of eligibility and what you can use the money for. Because right now, the list that I gave you with the restaurant and what it can be used for, that's going to be under the other tranche of money. It's not going to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's not under the current $900 billion. March 14th is going to be the date where the new guidelines are going to, what you can use the money for, to expand what you can use the money for, okay?
Right.
In the meantime, the process, and where we talk about technology and how technology is streamlining the process, making it a convenient, accessible, where you're able to apply for this PPP loan, when you apply for this loan and you are approved for this loan, the funds are then wired into your account. You don't have to go to a bank, to a physical bank. All of that, the process is going to be done online. Okay? And so, yeah, so when we talk about how we as a lender partner going to make it possible for you to apply for the SBA Paycheck Protection Program loan, we are going to be a lender where you can come and apply with us and make those funds available to you. And what we're saying is you'll be able to, at the convenience, at your convenience, wherever you want, you'll be able to come now to this website, to our website where we're broadcasting live, where you can watch the show live and learn more about our technology and our e-commerce. You can apply now if you can't wait. For some of you, you may not be able to wait till March 14th. But if you can wait, I suggest that you wait. So you'll be able to now apply. You can apply now. And you click on the button that says apply now for PPP loans. Okay. And so that is going to be an important element in terms of how we're going to make it easy and accessible for anyone in the United States to apply for the PPP loan with the marketplace and making those funds available. And so when I asked you about, Michael, when I asked you about the core app and when it's going to be available, obviously right now we're going to start making funds available and lending now.
Right.
But the thinking was in our total turnkey e-commerce solution suites that we offer, can we marry the core app with our banking technology platform to enable small business to have all the ability to run their business using technology and to manage their business financially, their banking, paying bills, collecting payments from customer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I think there's a possibility. I've been approached by 2 banks so far on it. They want something similar to mine because the economy is shifting around the world from traditional, what we call employees to, what we call now freelancers, which in other words, those are just, contractors, right? So there's a growing number of people who are today, working through their business, through an entity to get paid. So there should be some way to, marry some accounts receivables, accounts payable, and to kind of marry the two, but also kind of have a look at your personal, finances.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, I got to tell you, Michael, the hour goes by really quickly. Believe it or not, it's been an hour. Okay. Yep. But the conversation is great. I'm really looking forward because when us as a lender partner in this process, I want to be able to have that conversation with you in terms of how we can help technology companies, access those funds as well, and make those funds available. And so I'm looking forward to your guidance, your expertise, and understanding technology companies and how we can help them access these funds.
Sounds good, man.
All right, folks, that's it for us. As usual, I want to thank our colleague Jessica Kyler and Michael Gerard, the founder and CEO of Core Finance, an app that will be released in the second week in summer, in June. Right. And until next week, this has been another segment for Tech Talk on the Marketplace Show Reset and Jumpstart on technology and e-commerce. I'm Anthony Weeks. Until next week, we'll talk soon.
Yep. Peace.